Hi class. This week we're going to be talking about performance art and trans identities. We're going to be studying performance art practices that emerge from trans identities. The themes this week intersect with drugs and sex by way of hormone treatments, gender identity, sexuality, sex, and gender bias in society. The trans artists and work that we are studying this week demonstrate some of the ways that life and art intersect. We'll be discussing the ways that art influences identity and the ways that gender, sex, and identity influence artistic practices, forms, and styles. Trans is a term used to define gender variance. It's a broad term, and it encompasses transsexual, transgendered, gender variant, and gender non-conforming. This is a very recent book written by Jack Halberstam, and its subtitle is, it's called Trans, A Quick and Quirky Account of Gender Variability. And it's a really interesting and excellent explication of the term trans. In addition, one of the standby books, an older book by Susan Stryker called Transgender History. Again, these are not books about performance. These are just some books if you're interested in a little bit of background regarding the identities behind the performance we're talking about this week. So this week we'll be exploring some of the performance works that emerge from trans identities in contemporary society. In addition, we will meet some Canadian trans performance artists, discuss their practices, and describe specific examples of their work. First, we will meet performance and media artist Tristan Whiston. Tristan and I have actually been longtime artistic collaborators, and for this class, we sat down for an in-depth interview to discuss some of Tristan's work, his gender transition, and his voice. For Tristan, the voice has been a central tool in his art practice, a vital signifier of his gender, and an important axis for the development of his artistic and personal expression. After the interview with Tristan, I'll introduce you to London-based trans artist and historian Morgan M. Page. I'll introduce Morgan, and I'll show you a sample of their performance work. And then Morgan will deliver a brief lecture on the history of trans performance art. The history of trans performance, as you will learn from Morgan, is a unique history that finds its roots in practices of human displays, such as freak shows, circus acts, and vaudevilles, and then extends into contemporary performance art and theater. Finally this week, you'll watch the film Paris is Burning. Paris is Burning is an intimate examination of Black and Latino trans performance culture in America. This film shows how subcultural performance responds to and creates cohesive trans identities. In addition, you'll see how trans culture has influenced contemporary dance, performance culture, language, and gestural culture to a very, very large degree. As always, with the study of theater and performance, the question of the real is closely evaluated in this film. Realness in Paris is Burning is a performance practice and an identity aspiration. Performance art has many meanings and many divergent branches. We can trace its roots to as many places as there are cultures, basically. In performance art, the body is central to the production and display of the art. Performance art emerges directly out of the world of visual art. In this way, it has very different roots than contemporary theater does. Performance art challenges the art world with work that cannot be sold or owned. Performance happens in real time, and it is ephemeral. Contemporary performance art, as we know it, really began to flourish in the 1960s. The feminist artists of the 1960s made great use of this emerging form. They put the female body at the center of the work, and this was an important historical intervention because it made women the authors of their own representations. The performance artists that you will meet this week all put their bodies at the center of their work, and each of them does this in a unique way. There's no play reading this week, so let's move directly on to the interview with Tristan Whiston. And as you watch and listen, think about the deep integration of performance and life that constitute this unique trans artist's experience. Enjoy.